Hey guys, welcome back. It is me, Bushcraft Family. We're back again. Yeah, it's the title says, prep 6 months of food for $200 or under $200. And this varies, different states, different prices and stuff, but the majority of us can, prep 200 or 6 months of food for under $200. Some it may go over a little bit, but like I said, the majority of us. Um, Now it all depends on if you like beans and rice. Beans and rice, that's the easiest thing for protein for us to start with. If you don't like beans and rice, then you're gonna have to. It's probably going to cost you a bit more. But like I said, this is although I don't know if people out there have been real hungry before. I'm talking 3-4 days without eating. If you don't like something, you'll devour it in those amount of times. We're so spoiled here in this country. It's amazing how picky people are about their food. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some food that I don't like, but it's more of a mental thing than anything. But in whatever situation, I would still eat it. Because I've been that hungry before, and I know the feeling. But imagine times 2 and 3 of that. Say you haven't eaten in 2 weeks, and you don't like rice, but you see a nice hot bowl of rice there. You're going to eat that rice. Not saying this is what we have to do or anything, but anyways, let's get started with this anyway. We're wasting no time here. Now I figured this all up. I went to the Walmart website and got prices of everything, current prices and whatnot. And again, your Walmarts might be different, might be cheaper. Who knows? So our first thing we're going to start with is white rice, not brown. Even though this is for 6 months, again, so this is only for 6 months. Because I do have things in here that won't last. It'll last a couple years, but that's the max thing. But our first thing is white rice, not brown, because brown white rice will go bad in six months. Rice is good. 1,600 calories per serving. Walmart has a 20-pound bag that costs $11.70. Now, again, depending on your Walmarts. So you're going to need 60 pounds of rice to last you for 6 months. 60 pounds, you need 3 bags, 20 pounds each. I'm even doing the math for you. And that should total $35.10, according to my Walmart here. Now the next thing on the list is dried pinto beans. And pinto beans are great for fiber, protein, that thing. And don't worry, you're not going to need 60 pounds of this, but you're going to need a 20-pound bag and a 8-pound bag. You need a total of 30, but this is close I could find. The 30-pound or 20-pound bag cost $14.94. I put $15 on it, but and then you get an 8-pound bag, costs you $6.88, and that's a total of $21.82. Now, now this is a iffy one because there are people out there that don't like lentils, but get you some dried lentils also. They cook much faster. You don't have to soak them overnight to save fuel. But a 4-pound bag at Walmart runs about $5.50. Grab 4 of those bags, which will total of $22. I'm trying to read my list here. So right now, with rice, beans, and lentils, we're looking at $72. But again, this is for 6 months. And our next thing is we're going to go into our kind of breakfast foods now. So our next one is rolled oats. Yeah, some people don't like them. Again, you would grow to love them, so to speak. A 42-ounce canister of great value old-fashioned oats cost around $3.50 a box. Buy 6 of those. That gives you 16 pounds of oats for $21. Now our next one is all-purpose flour. Let you make bread, tortillas, dumplings, pancakes, biscuits, gravy, a thickener for soups. A 10-pound bag of great value flour costs $5.50. Buy 2 of those. That's 20 pounds for $11. And sometimes you get lucky and they have the bigger bags that are cheaper, so you can buy one big 20-pound bag. Mine didn't have them, so I did it as I'm seeing it on the Walmart website. Our next one is dried pasta. Cooks fast, stores for years. Spaghetti, elbow, macaronis, whatever's the cheapest. Great value pasta runs about $1 per pound. Buy 10 pounds. And although, about the only thing I found for $1 was elbows, but and spaghetti. Sometimes you can find the others. It depends, but like I said, try to get as cheap as possible. Get 10 pounds. It is $10. So right now, with our dinner stuff and our breakfast stuff, which you can do a lot more with the breakfast stuff, but we're running at $120.92. And again, this is before taxes and everything, because some stores charge tax for foods and stuff. So now supplements. Now again, this is for not a long-term thing. So if it was long-term, I would change this scenario out a little bit. But salt, everybody needs it. Your body needs it. Your taste buds need it. It has many, many uses. Anyway, salt. A 4-pound container of salt cost about $1.50. And that's the Walmart brand. You want to buy 2 of those. Um, if you can find the bag of salt, you can usually get it cheaper for a 10-pound bag. Just giving it out there. Mine didn't have it. A lot of stuff doesn't show up when you do the search if they don't have it on stock, because I clicked the in-store thing. Our next one is sugar. We gotta love that sugar. I mean, it's good for those oats, coffee, many things. A 10-pound bag usually runs $6. And that's all you need, $6 will do you right there for your sugar. Now, oil, because we need oil, source of fat of some sort, and to keep the numbers low, again, this is not a long-term solution, but vegetable oil. I'm not a fan of it, but for a pinch, 6 months under $200, this is what I had to come up with. It is, they have 42-ounce bottles of great value vegetable oil, cost around $4. Mine was $3.97. I'll just round it out to $4. You want to buy 3 of those, which will be $12, and it gives you, 148 ounces, something like that, which should last you 6 months. And again, this next one here, powdered milk. I just talked about this not being able to last very long, but they do have alternatives. Now, this is where my list kind of varies a little bit. They do have a section. Now, if you go in the instant non-fat dry milk, great value, 64-ounce box, costs $9. And you need 2 of those. So that's $18 right there. Now, possibly, I didn't even think about looking for it at the time, but in the Mexican food aisle, they do have milk, and it's lasts a very long time on the shelf. So you might check those out too. So, like I said, there's a couple things. Vegetable oil and powdered milk are not a very long shelf life. We'll leave it at that. Our next thing is, well, let me see what we're running at right now. We're running at roughly $160. So it's $159.92. You might as well say 160, which leaves us about $40 to spend. Now, some of the stuff is probably going to help your mental state, and that's to make your food taste good. Now, bouillon powder or bouillon cubes, whatever you go for. Now, you can get a large jar of chicken bouillon, which is about 40 servings for $3. And you can get a bigger one in the Mexican food aisle for double that, which is what you need. You need to, because the small jars you they cost about $3. Now the bigger jars in the Mexican food aisle run about $3.84, sometimes $5. They're on sale right now, so I would go that route instead of the Walmart brand. Some of these items, like I said, it's good to shop around. You can probably reduce this under where I'm at. Yeah. Our next one is peanut butter. Roughly, 190 to 50 calories per serving. It's got protein, it's got fat. Fat is an important thing. 48 ounce jar of great value creamy peanut butter is $5.50. It was like $5.47, something like that. You want to buy two jars of that, which will be $11. And peanut butter lasts about a year or so. Technically, it usually lasts a lot longer than that. I've had peanut butter on this that, was a year and a half, 2 years past expiration, and I still ate it. So, not telling you to do any of that, but, Now, our next one here is spices. Spices. Now, I'm not a fan of Great Value, but they do have spices very cheap. And like their garlic powder doesn't come with, that silicone and stuff to not make it stick. I don't know how it doesn't stick. Well, it does if you leave it for a while, but anyways, garlic powder, chili powder, cumin, black pepper are a good start right there. That's a basic. I'm gonna put this for about $10. You can get a $10 amount of these. Depending on your right now, ours is on sale for $1. So, but I went ahead and marked it a little bit higher on my list because some people don't have that access to Walmart sales or whatnot. So, I don't know, $10.50 for your spices. Now, last item on the list, to me is very important, but it does have a shelf life. Technically, it can't go bad, but I'm not saying it wouldn't if it comes from Walmart, but this is one of those things you can get it if you want it type things, but you get it from Walmart. I put it in here anyway, honey. Technically it never expires. I'm not saying that Walmart brand wouldn't expire or anything, but I can get it pretty cheap. I got mine for $8 a quart. You're not going to do that. You might find it for a pint somewhere. But in a pinch, if you had to, Walmart, you can get it for $8-9, something like that. It has so many uses, sweetener to, you can cover wounds. It's good for in teas and stuff. Anyways, that is our list. That's under $200. That's $195.42. That's what I came up on my list. I'm not saying that's exactly what you're going to come up with, but that's looking at the Walmart website. Then again, sometimes they do have sales. I don't know right now if some of my stuff is on sale. Like I said, the spices are on sale, but I added extra for that anyway. So let's break this list down, shall we? Without me blabbing or anything. 60 pounds of white rice, $35. That's 3 20-pound bags. 28 pounds of pinto beans. That's a 20-pound bag and an 8-pound bag, which is, you want 30 would be perfect, but they didn't have the 10-pound bag. Anyway, that's $21. 16 pounds of lentils, $22. I'm not going to go how big canisters are. 16 pounds of rolled oats, $21. 20 pounds of all-purpose, note I'm saying all-purpose, $11. 10 pounds of dried pasta, 8 pounds of salt, and technically, if they had it in stock, 10 pounds of salt a bag is a lot cheaper. 10 pounds of sugar, $6. 144 ounce vegetable oil, that's 3 48-ounce bottles, is $12. 128 ounces of powdered milk, that's 2 64-ounce boxes, that's $18. Bouillons, $6. Peanut butter, 80 ounces of peanut butter for $11. Garlic powder, your spices, $10.50. And then you have your honey with $8. And that there gives you $195. That's about 2,000 calories per day for 6 months. Now, that's if you're setting a certain amount of servings per day, that's what you come out with. Some days you're going to be really hungry. Some days you might skip a meal. It all depends. But this is a basic 6 months survival food for 6 months. And that's what everybody should have, at least 6 months food. Now, I get people saying, well, what if nothing happens? Well, then you start eating this stuff and you replace it as you eat it. So, I have stuff in the basement that's expiring. I had canned chicken. So what do? I take the canned chicken, open it up, give the cats a treat with the juice. If I was making something else, I would use that juice for whatever purposes. But I made chicken salad for chicken salad sandwiches. Now, when I go to the store, I mentally remember that. And I buy 2 more cans, even though it's going to irritate me because when I bought those, they were on sale for $1.92. You get where I'm going. Same thing with rice. Say, I'm going to cook rice 3 times this week. So when I go to the store, I'm going to replace that rice with some newer, fresher rice. And I'm going to store it differently. That's how you do it. That's called a working pantry. That means whenever you use something, you have a mental thing in your head saying you need to replace that. Sometimes, fresh preppers tend to forget those things, and you can write it down. I mean, they have apps for everything now. You could have an app for it that says, well, you use this, you have to replace it, and it's a good idea to work at that, because once And you don't have to do this like all today. This is just a a flat line basis of where to start at. If I had $200 and I wanted to go prepare for whatever, a tornado, hurricane, or whatever. Not saying you would be, it would be this way for 6 months, but you don't know the other situations. You know, you don't have power, or you have to do repairs on your house for 6 months to get it back to where it was. You have that food that you don't have to worry about going out and getting food every day, or, you know, DoorDash and or Uber Eats it, or whatever, to, oh, bring me a Big Mac. My belly hurts. You know, you have your food right there. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go shopping. It's there. Anyways, enough blabbing. Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, if you don't like any of this stuff, that's where you need to work. You need to go, and it's not hard. Just go to any grocery store website now. Every website has, or every store has a website now. You can plan out a whole 6 months of food right there in the shopping cart, and it'll figure out how much it costs. And this day and age, you don't even have to get out your dang house. You can have it ordered and brought to your house. Yeah, it's easy now. Anyways, done talking. Thanks for watching. Like always, God bless.